I thought it was a little while since I'd done a full overview of my solar shed and what's going on inside it and on top of it. So I thought I would do a bit of an update. I have three 50-watt solar panels, monocrystalline solar panels, coming into this system on the roof of the shed. All three can be independently isolated and turned on individually, so I can see the stats under the same weather conditions from each one. I have an ammeter showing what's coming in at the moment. I've only got about an amp coming in. Unfortunately, it is October. It is the very end of October. It's actually Halloween today, and the weather's not been great for the last few days. But here's my solar panel voltage, 18.2 volts, and this watt meter here confirms that it's just over an amp coming in, and that same 18.5 volts being shown there. My charge controller is in bulk mode, so it is doing MPPT. It suggests it's just getting 1.2 amps, I think it is, out of the system. 14 watts currently from 150 watts of solar panels. That's unfortunately what you get at this time of year. So on the roof of my shed are these two 50-watt solar panels, monocrystalline, the two black ones there at the top. They're on these brackets so I can angle them for different times of year. They're in autumn mode, I guess, at the moment. I need to lift them for winter. Here's an additional 50-watt monocrystalline panel, my original 50-watt panel, which is just attached to the shed roof. And then finally I've got a 20-watt mono on the left hand side and a 10-watt mono on the right there, my original panel, that little 10-watt. It is all a bit cobbled together, I'm afraid, and not very pretty looking, but you know, it's functional. One of the things I have improved is my battery bank, and as you can see I now have two identical 88 amp hour Hankook leisure batteries, claim leisure batteries, and as you can see I've wired them up here, positive to positive, negative to negative, so I'm still on a 12 volt system. But you should also be able to see that the wire goes via this terminal and then back up to the charge controller, but on this side it goes from here by this terminal back up to the charge controller, and I'm told this should give a more even charge and a more even discharge of these batteries. I've used this wire in between my batteries. It's from a jumper lead set. I think it is copper covered aluminium, but it's a decent gauge. So those wires connect through to this DC breaker and these earth bonds, and then my other items come from here. So the thicker wires on the top go to my inverter, and the thinner wires underneath, these thinner wires on top go up to my charge controller. Now I am thinking about improving these wires, getting a bit more, getting thicker wires in there, because I'm seeing some voltage drop between this point and this point. So that's saying 12.5, that's saying 12.6, and when I check the batteries they're even higher. I've also built a battery box to make sure nothing shorts any of those two batteries out. It's worth noting that this battery box is not sealed. There's lots of space around the edge at the back for any gases to escape, although these are sealed lead acid batteries. It's simply just to protect from anything dropping on top and causing a short. here's my charge controller, the eBay Eco Solar Chinese charge controller. I think it's really good, and I intend to do a more full review of this soon enough. But it is real MPPT. There is an inductor in there and a buck converter. My solar panel is coming in at 18.3 volts. My battery is at 12.8. Charge is going into the battery, even though I've got various lights on. So the back of the panel is a bit of a mess, I'm afraid, but everything is fused and should be fairly safe. The 3 panels come via those switches in via these fuses and these shocky diodes. I was finding I was backfeeding at night, or I suspect I'm backfeeding at night, and it does beg a question whether that charge controller has a backfeed diode in there. But hopefully in my full review later I'll be able to distinguish whether that's true or not. I use these earth bonds because they make it easier to string everything together. And like I said, everything's fused at pretty low amperes because that's all I'm pulling. There's a 5 amp, I think it is, DC to DC converter to 5 volts, which goes straight to these USB plugs, which is really handy. Back of the cigarette lighter switches. Difficult to see, I know, I'm sorry. Back of the watt meters and switch at the bottom. I use this SEPIC converter to bring a clean 12 volt feed to my workbench, which is underneath. I can't really remember if I told you that the solar shed now has Wi-Fi. So that's an overview of my solar shed as it is at the moment. So if you would like to ask any questions, please do comment, but also give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and you'll see me next time.